back to Sloop John Island. I'm This Old Gamer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we are all set for the suburbs. I didn't say downtown. Episode 5. And on episode 4, we built this beautiful little commercial district right across the street from the suburbs. Looks fantastic. Lots of great food. I'll take a number 3. Hold the onions, please. So some good progress made on our last episode, and today we are going to be focused, as I said at the end of episode 4, closer to the ocean. We're going to build a neat little area, kind of a park, kind of a little getaway here. We are going to start out today by making a cliff. Cliffs are kind of hard to make on city skylines, but we got to do some terraforming. I thought I got rid of that sound effect and graphic. I do apologize sincerely. So we're going to do some terraforming, and yeah, like I said, cliffs are a little difficult to make. I'm going to show you how to make one the way that This Old Gamer makes one. Doesn't mean it's a good way. Matter of fact, it means you might not want to necessarily follow this tutorial. But I don't know, let me know what you think when we're all said and done here. So cliffs are a little bit difficult to make. Now a lot of it has to do with the theme that you have. The theme I have set up has this rather dull cliff. It's not that exciting. So what we're doing is we're using some rocks here that we are going to do some procedure objects work with. We're just kind of making these rocks fit more right into the landscape, right up against the side of this cliff. And they're kind of like little Lego blocks. We're going to just duplicate and use different ones and try to find ways to connect them that looks realistic. Not the easiest thing in the world. I did have a little trial and error when it came to getting these rocks to work. I even thought about just leaving it as is. The cliff does not look all that bad, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more rocky. Here I'm using the move it procedure objects copy and paste function. It's kind of odd that it does work pretty well, but it doesn't necessarily show you what it's going to look like until you place it, like little tiny versions, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's humongous. But it still works pretty good, and I mean, what would City Skylines be without Move It? I'm not going to complain. So we're kind of duplicating, putting one rock on top of the other, but just kind of using them almost like a surface painter in a way, right up against the side of the actual cliff, and trying to make this look a little bit more realistic. I didn't really pull any inspiration from anywhere necessarily on this. I just kind of wanted something that looked more like a rigid looking coast, kind of something old. Maybe something you would see not really in a tropical area, more so of a northeastern type cliff, or maybe on the coast of Oregon, something like that. So we're using all sorts of different rocks, and I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty great. I hope you're enjoying the Suburb series. Lots of great feedback from episode 4. Just all sorts of great feedback from each one of the Suburb episodes. I'm really having fun making these. It's a lot easier for me to make as well. So we're using these prop bushes just to kind of go along the edge of this slope. I also use the slope terraforming feature just to pull the top of the side of the cliff like inward toward the rocks, so it kind of looked more natural the way that the land actually went into that rock. I was trying to make it look like it kind of cut off. Here you see me using that slope tool. I'm not sure exactly if we succeeded on that part of it, but I do like the way that this turned out. And using these little prop bushes just kind of seals it up, puts a nice little coat of paint on it at the end of the day. But yeah, I really do like the way this harbor area turned out. Nice little open area by the sea, a beautiful lookout, and a great place to have some really nice homes, which we'll get to in a moment. So what we are doing here is we're making a little road up here to the side of this little overlook. And I thought this would be a fantastic place, just the way it's already set up, kind of a fantastic place to build a lighthouse. Then I started thinking, why not make this lighthouse kind of like a park? Maybe it's a historical lighthouse. I mean, lighthouses in general are always kind of like a tourist destination. People just love them. A lot of lighthouses in America are, at this point, just for looks. The technology that we have, you don't necessarily have to have a lighthouse telling boats to not come close, but they still serve functions in many parts of the world. This is actually and here I go again, not knowing creators' names, but I know that this is a lighthouse, very popular one on the Steam Workshop, and I think it's the largest lighthouse in the Netherlands. So this is a beautiful, beautiful asset. I really like it very much. It's got that nice red look to it. So here I'm just kind of putting in a little plopped parking lot, just so people have a place to park right up here next to this lighthouse. And this is going to become part of a two-part park. Okay, so originally on this episode, my idea was to make several different large homes and beautiful estates right up here on the side of this cliff. But what I realized is, and what I realize more and more as I play this game, everything takes time if you want it to look good. If you want it to look realistic, if you're doing detailing in general, everything takes a lot of time. So when I finished the lighthouse, I realized this is going to be a long episode. I realized that, well, this is going to be an episode to itself, and then on a future episode, probably episode 6, we'll kind of finish out this coast, or at least we'll try to. That's the plan anyway. But good plans sometimes go astray, and you improvise, and that's what we're doing today. I'm kind of throwing in some rocks here just to kind of give this a little bit of a rocky look. That decal rocks I really like. Perfect for a coast. Looks fantastic. So here is our estate we are working with today. This is actually a real mansion in San Francisco. This asset is by Macwelshman. So see there, I do know some names. Macwelshman with a tremendous asset, looks fantastic. And I thought when I saw this, when I was kind of playing around with what house do I want to put here, this one really was a great fit because it looks very old, it looks very historic. And I thought this would be a great tie-in to the lighthouse to make kind of a seaside park. An old historic home that people would just visit. Nobody actually lives there. It's just for looks. And I thought it would just work perfect for this. So we're putting in a little parking lot, and we're just going to kind of throw this road down, and we're going to adjust it later. It looks really, really wonky right now. I do like these parking lot roads. This is the traditional parking lot road. But I will say the sidewalk is very large, but it actually works fine here because you're going to have a lot of people walking around and stuff like that. So I think that that's okay in this circumstance. We have some little node glitching going on. We're just going to convert these roads actually over to the parking lot road here close by. That did not. That still looks. Yeah, we'll get rid of that and do it like that. There we go. So it kind of looks like this was a little bit like developed later type situation, which is such an old historical house. Now, the way that we have this up on this hill presents a unique challenge. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this ploppable concrete. Now keep in mind that the ploppable concrete, ploppable grass, all that kind of stuff, it is a surface, okay? It is a surface. So what that means is you can cover it with decals. You can do a lot of things with surfaces. It's different from a decal in itself. It is not a decal, it is a surface. So that is a flat surface that is now the ground. And I even got the idea of putting in a garage that I immediately scrapped because even though that could be like a maintenance garage or whatever, I was like, it didn't look that great. So there's my little 10 seconds of that. So see how these decals just look great on top of it? So you can just use whatever decals you want. It doesn't necessarily have to stay the color of that concrete or whatever that you plopped. You can do the same thing with surface grass, there's surface gravel, surface cliffs, all sorts of stuff. So just play around with that. I think it's a very underrated tool on city skylines. A lot of people don't really take full advantage of, but it allows this situation to be a lot easier, where we would have had to do a ton of landscaping and terraforming to make that look right. We can just throw in that surface, and then we can just kind of cover it up with some decals. And it even made the staircase a lot easier. I was a little worried. I don't like using, well, I don't want to say I don't like using. I just, stairs can be very challenging, but this just works perfect. There was already a nice little slope there, a nice little incline. So these stairs just fit perfectly, as we're just duplicating some decals to make all that work just fine. Okay, yeah. I even threw a little ploppable piece of concrete on top of those stairs so we could just continue the brick. Now the stairs themselves are a different of a different color, but not really worried about that. We have this little retaining wall that is around the property. Now over here I'm just going to build a quick wall, and then we'll copy these nodes so we can just move these nodes over and then adjust them in place so it can just kind of continue around the top of this like this. Just kind of get them where we need them to be, like so. Yeah, so it's a nice little guardrail. Now here I'm putting kind of a banister and a wall combination type thing. It's got like a very elegant top. This is all part of this mansion by Macwelshman. And these look great. They tie in very nicely. These, well, I should say this, what is the name of this mansion? Let me see here. James C. Flood Mansion. So it comes with, there's a pack, and it comes with these fences, these light posts that you see as well. So lots of little different props and stuff that kind of tie in to the house. So you can do this exact same thing on your map. Of course, you don't have to put it seaside or whatever, but you can put it wherever you want. And it's all just available there in the workshop to use. And it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Lots of good detail on this. It is huge. Okay, so you can do lots of you can get lots of mansions off the workshop. This is probably one of the biggest ones there is. It is humongous. It almost, and something else too I was thinking when I first saw it, was you could really use it for a government building of some sort. So it would make a great alternative to a courthouse, or maybe some sort of government office of some sort. But here we're just using it as a mansion. And there is a backstory to this mansion, and I will tell that story on a future episode. Or I might not, I don't know. There is a backstory on Sloop John Island. I don't know about the real story. Well, the fake story is San Francisco. The real story is Sloop John Island. So, these brick decals, these are King Leno's brick decals. One of the ones he makes. They just are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very old, rustic looking. Really love it. Added a fountain because, you know me, I have to have fountains. I kind of funny, that fountain was not pumping out water. It was just steel. But come to find out, my electricity was not reaching this area just yet. So I just threw in some of those underground spots for electricity just to get the electricity running over here. The lighthouse, by the way, in case you're wondering, does light up. And you'll kind of see that when we hit the cinematics at the end of this episode. But just all around some terrific assets. You know what? I can just, let me see here. Now see, here's what's interesting. I never think to do this, but just going to the workshop, and you can actually find what you're talking about on your episode as you are still recording. That is the beauty of having a high power PC. Here we go. Lighthouse number 1 by Ian. Ian, thank you, Ian. He's playing The Long Dark right now. Ian, I'm sorry to share that personal information. This is a very popular asset. Very popular indeed. That's cool. Okay, I'll get back to the actual episode here. We have this pathway that is heading over to the lighthouse. So this kind of combines the 2 tourist attractions into one. You can visit the mansion, then you walk over to the lighthouse. It's all kind of tied in together, which I think makes sense and looks good. Just throwing in some daffodils, and now we're going to put some light posts around the top of this wall. Just some extra detail, as you can see here. Just using Move It to adjust the heights on this on these lights. Really like how that turned out. Oh, I love that fountain. Love this mansion. I'm having so much fun dealing with houses. Just really enjoying this build so far of the SuBURBS. And I've got some really exciting things. I've been doing some more realtor.com house hunting, and I found some really cool stuff on the workshop that we're going to be using on some future episodes. Here's some little dogwood trees we're kind of spreading throughout. But yeah, just really like this. I do realize we don't have parking spots. We better put some parking spots on here. And we'll plop them down like so. There's a new mod on the workshop that it just kind of like locks in parking spots. I have not messed with that. I'm very weary of new mods, and I think it has a 5-star rating and it's super popular at the moment. I am very weary of new mods. I just don't like doing anything that might possibly add more stress onto my computer that is already mad at me for the thousands of assets and things I have tied into this game. But yeah, look at that. I just love it. Well, that about does it for this episode of the SuBURBS. Episode 5 is in the books. And as I said earlier, I did want to go ahead and build the entire coast out, but that didn't happen. These things they take a lot of time, but this turned out absolutely beautiful. I love the mansion, the coast, and everything. And what I decided to do is kind of turn this into its own little series of episodes. So we'll expand on this coast. We'll continue building these beautiful mansions along this new coast. And oh yeah, I forgot. I did promise you'd see the lighthouse. Yes, there it is. The essential lighthouse, as a friend of mine would call it. Well, I hope you got something out of this episode, and I hope you hit that like button if you did like it, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed building it. We will see you next time as we continue down the coast. It's a beautiful evening and a beautiful night on Sloop John Island, and I hope you're having a beautiful day on whatever island or piece of land you're on. I'm This Old Gamer. Have a good one. Bye-bye.